like if I try to make a YouTube video about this, there's going to be this part of me that, every time I'm recording a video for YouTube, there's a part of me that like clicks on. A part of me that says, okay, now it's time to be entertaining. So, it's May 28th, 2018. At 7 a.m. this morning, Nettie Warden, my mother, passed away. Stuff is still happening here, and, it's all happening so fast. They've already taken her body down to be cremated, and I had all these weird pictures in my head of like, am I gonna see that happen? Like, are we gonna go and watch it happen, or is they just gonna do it? Well, okay. Well, let me actually start back at the beginning here. So in October of 2016, I found out that my mother had colon cancer, some variation of it. I really don't know all the details of it, but just gradually over the course of... And it started like long before then. She was having trouble sitting down. Finally, just one night it got so bad that she called into the ER and found out she had cancer. So we went through a series of ups and downs that seemed to just never end. They talked about doing a surgery because when they found the growth, it wasn't really in that bad of a spot. It was like in her uterus, I believe they said. So they started with like this basic like chemotherapy. Supposedly once that was done, then they could do the surgery and remove the thing, but I guess after the chemotherapy it hadn't shrunk as much as they thought it would. So they went on to radiation. They did that for a while, and the results really weren't much better there. So, but all the time I kept thinking, well, eventually, something's got to work, and I got to be able to get in and get it out. But she just kept losing weight, and, she was constantly drinking, Boost protein shakes, and was eating as much as she could, but her appetite was just basically gone. So, she just kept losing more and more weight, and some days it was okay, some weeks it was okay. Anyway, I don't know how much it's really necessary for me to go into all the detail about it, but, so I've actually been out of town for the last 2 weeks, and I still remember, when I said goodbye to her before leaving 2 weeks ago, I remember thinking there was a distinct possibility this might be the last time I speak to her. This might be the last time I see her. Because I didn't know, I remember when my dad passed away, he actually passed away on September 5th, which was the 4th day of PAX East in 2016. 2016 was just one of them years, I'll tell you what. So in what I can only describe as just a colossal coincidence, the same exact thing happened here with MomoCon. I got to the 4th day of the convention, and that morning I got a phone call about Mom, and they said they don't know how much time she's got, but it's getting really close. But when they said it could be today or it could be tomorrow, I knew I had to get out of there. Because, at PAX East, when I got the call, he had already passed away. So, there was nothing I could do anyway, so I just went to the con and tried to do the best I could and have fun and hung out with people and all that, but there was no way I could do that this time because she was still alive, and I thought I could get back to her in time, just to at least see her, speak to her, hold her hand one more time or something. So, and huge thanks to my friends, Proton John, Chucky Conroy, Missy, and Ella, all you guys. And Proton John's friend as well, Rush, he grabbed me and got me right out to the airport, and I managed to grab a flight that night and get back here. Got back here at about 10 o'clock. And when I got here, she was basically sleeping, and she was unresponsive at that point. There was no, she wasn't responding to much of anything. We were just giving her they were giving her pain medication intermittently just to keep her comfortable, because, she would start moaning when it got bad, and that was all she could do. But aside from that, she wasn't really responding in any way to us, when we spoke or talked to her or anything. So I finally got to bed around 2 a.m. last night, and then he woke me up at about 7 this morning to tell me that it was done. And if I'm being honest here, it's a relief. I probably said the same thing when Dad passed away, that it's a relief. It's just a relief to know that she's not suffering anymore. That she... But it's so weird to think, though, because my grandparents on my dad's side, and I don't know how long I'm going to keep talking here, and forgive the indulgence if I go on a little long about this. I feel like I just need to clear my head and get these thoughts out. But my grandparents on my dad's side actually passed when I was a teenager, but grandparents on my mom's side survived for like another 20 years after that. But when they went, it was like a chain reaction. It's just first grandma, and then grandpa, and then dad, and now mom. All four of them have died within 10 years of each other. My grandparents and my parents all died in the same decade. And that's weird to think about, because usually there's like a, I don't know, at least a 10 or 20 year gap between generations passing on, but man. So I guess it's up to me to break the cycle, huh? You know, if I'm being honest here, it's the same as I said with Dad. It's kind of a relief. In some sense, I feel like I'd already lost her. And I don't mean that in like any kind of malevolent way. I'm just saying, you know, that I once read something somewhere that said, you're not closing the book, you're just turning the page. That's kind of how I like to think of it here. I don't really know where my head's at with this right now, though. It's too soon. I mean, it just happened like 2 hours ago, and I'm sitting here fucking making a recording about it. Like, I should at least give it some time. But what am I gonna do? You know, take a bunch of notes? I feel stupid even making a video about it at all, but in that sense, I have to tell you guys somehow, and this is the best way for me to do it, so. I just need some way to explain, so if you don't see videos from me for a while, this is why. And you know what's crazy about it, though? You know what's crazy about this is there's a part of me that wants to sit down and record videos right now. There's a part of me that wants to do that, and it's like, how can you think that right now? How could you possibly want to do that right now? I guess there's a part of me, I guess that part of me is just, there's a part of me that wants to just move on, you know, to get on with my life. Because, you know, eventually I'm going to have to. But I know there's a time for mourning and all that stuff. But, well, what exactly even is mourning anyway, you know, besides the early part of the day? See, now I'm making puns. I mean, this is ridiculous. I don't know if I really understand that. You know, I know people think that I'm like this great person, but I don't know. People said that, like, eventually Dad's death was going to catch up to me, and it was going to hit me, and it was going to slowly sink in. And I don't feel like it ever did. Like, nothing ever happened. I didn't, like, suddenly break down and cry one day, like, oh my god, it really happened, or something, you know? I feel like the mourning process is something I've been doing for a long time now, because, I mean, I guess it just goes back to what I was saying before about, you know, how it kind of feels like I've already lost her. You know, I'd already come to terms with the fact that I was going to lose her. You know, because, I mean, well, we all lose them eventually. I mean, nobody's immune to that. I feel like I don't even remember what I said in my video about Dad, but I kind of worry that I might be saying a lot of the same things here. Sorry if I am. I don't know. When it comes to mourning, I don't really understand that process. It's not something you can just sit down and do, you know. You have no control over it. It's a process that happens inside of you. Yeah, sorry if that ceiling fan is buzzing in the background. It's a little annoying. I can hear it right now. I don't know if I can, like, oil that thing or something, but the thing that made my mom great was, well, you know, that she could sit down with me and play Contra, and we would put in the 30 lives code, but we wouldn't even need it. We'd play through the game 2 or 3 times in a row, just in one sitting, and we'd both have 40 plus lives by the end of it, because we were just that good at the game. We knew it that well. We had done it so many times together. And I had always told myself, you know, that at some point I was going to get with her and record a 2-player co-op Contra LP to put up on this channel, and I never did it. I had every chance to in the world, and I just never did it. I'd even been talking to her about it not that long ago, maybe a month ago, and she seemed pretty into the idea. Things just got so hectic. I had to record videos for this trip, and I mean, I can make all the excuses I want, but the simple fact is I didn't do it. You know, I had a chance to, and I didn't do it. But that's what made her special, you know, is that she was a part of my life as much as I was a part of hers, you know. Yeah, but I guess just so you guys know, I mean, I'm okay, and we'll get through this. We got through it before, we'll do it again. I think it would actually, I know this sounds weird, but I almost think it would help if maybe I streamed. I don't know. I don't know what time or anything, but kind of just, come and hang out and talk about it, do a Q&A or something, maybe. I don't know yet, though. It's going to have to be, though. Like, I can't schedule it, I can't plan it. It's going to have to be when I'm ready, and I'm not sure when that's going to be. It could be tomorrow, it could be a week from now. I mean, if I'm being honest here, I don't think it's going to be that long. Because I remember, like, when I was 30, at that point, I had never seen a dead body. And I'd always thought that, like, the first time when I saw Grandpa, when I saw Grandma, when I saw Dad, even, I saw them, after they had been embalmed or whatever it is that they do to make them look more presentable. But with Mom, it was like I was seeing the real thing. I was seeing it as it was happening, and it's a little bit different. Thankfully, I was able to get on a plane and get home early and get to her before she passed. So I was able to stand by her side and tell her I loved her before she left. And I don't know if she heard it, but it's about the best I could hope for, really. So there hasn't really been any organization to these thoughts at all. Like, I was talking about her, like, as a person and everything. I guess this picture that I have up on the screen actually is probably my favorite picture of me and her. It was her favorite picture too, so it's kind of cool. That was when we lived in Nicholson, Georgia, right after we moved to Georgia. And it was one day after church. It was just the two of us. It was a happy day. Those Super Mario Brothers 3 days, as I call them. I consider myself lucky. I mean, when you think of all the kids out there who never knew who their parents were, or had parents that treated them unwell, or not, or had parents who didn't treat them right, it's like, how in the world do you deal with something like that? You live your entire life not having someone that you feel like you can just tell them anything in the world. And Mom was that person for me. It's like such a harsh line that's so easily defined and so easily visible, and it's not visible. What is the word when something's obvious? I guess just obvious, just an obvious line of a generation gap. What's weird about it is, like, she's like, 64, and I'm 42, right? So that's about 20 years. You can see there's like a gap in between our generations, yeah. But there is no line between me and the people that are like 20 years younger than me. Like, when I see these people like in their 20s and 30s going out and protesting and talking about, rights for people in minorities, and obviously I'm trying to avoid making any specific references here, but you know what I'm talking about. I agree with them. I'm down with it. So I don't really know, like, how other people my age feel, because I don't really know a lot of people my age, to be honest. I feel like I'm kind of stuck in the middle. It's like everyone's either older than me or younger than me, and all the other people who are my age, I don't know what they're doing. It's almost gotten to the point now where, the people that I've been hanging out with since I started the channel back in my early 30s, and when all of them were teenagers, and now I'm like early 40s, and they're like late 20s. So it's like, so now we're actually closer in age than we were when I started this, and I feel like I relate to some people more now than I ever did. Like, if I do make this into a YouTube video, God only knows what I'm going to keep from it. Good Lord. So anyway, if you're listening to this, thank you for making it this far. Videos will continue. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing here. I'm not sure when they will. It could be in a couple days. It could be in a week. It's like I said before, I want to just record right now. I really do. It's like I want to just get on with my life. I want to just start living my life. It doesn't make sense for me to stop now. She wouldn't want me to do that. She wouldn't want me sitting around here feeling sorry for myself, and I definitely am not going to, don't worry. It's like I said, there's too many mixed feelings I have about this, and I've processed those feelings 100 times over already as it is. It almost feels superfluous that I'm even sitting here trying to talk about it now, but it had to be said, because it has finally happened and it's finished, and we'll do what we have to do to deal with things as they come, but till then, that's gonna be it for me for now. So I will see you guys real soon. Take care, and don't be stupid. Yeah, this is wonderful. See you guys later.